Hello to my beautiful friends out there. Welcome to my channel, Astro. And this is your monthly forecast for October 2025. We've already moved into fall, and October is a cleansing month because we have Mercury being the star of the month and Neptune moving back into Pisces at 29 degrees, along with Saturn at 26 degrees. And there are other planets that are following. Mars is in Scorpio. We have Mars. Mercury is going to start out in Libra. But we have Mars, Neptune, Saturn, and then we have the Sun. And Mercury will also move into Scorpio this month. So there's an emphasis on the water, okay? Water represents reflection. It also represents what you can't see. Okay, it is a portal as well. So with this water energy happening this month, we have this it's a recalibration. Neptune and Saturn moving back into Pisces is the opportunity, and the last one, to make sure that we have brought the things up that we need to let go of. And for some reason, for some of us, we forgot something, and that something needs to be addressed, and that's why they're back to show us the way. Okay, and then we have Pluto in Aquarius stationing direct, and with that direct motion, the retrograde already, brought things to the surface. Now that it's at the surface, Pluto is taking action swiftly, quickly. So the cleanup is happening, and some of it is going to be whether you like it or not, okay? But I suggest that you go with the flow, because we still have the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo. So this North Node energy, along with the Neptune and Saturn in Pisces, we need to, make sure that we set our boundaries going forward. And because Neptune and Pisces are boundless energies, and sometimes with that energy, you may want to overextend yourself. And with Neptune being here, Neptune wants us to recognize our fear from our intuition. And that's where the fog and the confusion happens with Neptune. Neptune is very spiritual. It wants us to be on our spiritual path and grow spiritually, very compassionate. But we always tend to reference Neptune with the fog and the confusion. However, there is a reason for that, because that is about us being more keen about what we are experiencing, and know that the experience is either fear-based or your intuition speaking to you. Okay, So I don't want to spend too much time on this intro. Let me see, what else was there that I wanted to share with you outside of Pluto and Neptune. Okay, well, oh, all right. We do have the full moon in Aries, and that's happening on the 6th of this month. And, even though the full moon is about releasing, this is an action oriented full moon, and taking charge and being assertive in your persona, period. Okay. There's also Chiron in this action as well, and Chiron is going to highlight where the wounds are. Okay. And with the full moon being in Aries, there's a lot of emotion behind that, because Aries is the first house. And with the first house, it's all about your head and your body, your personality. So, somewhere, with this Aries full moon, you are needing to heal a certain part of yourself. And there's, so much healing going on this month with Neptune, Chiron, and Pluto. But for the most part, Pluto is about the collective, okay? But, there's still some personal issues for each of us. So let's talk about the rest in the forecast. So I'll see you there. Hello to my beautiful Cancer risings out there. Welcome to my channel, Astro, and this is your monthly forecast for October 2025. Okay, I did talk about some things that I'm not going to talk about in the intro, that I'm not going to talk about here. So if you want to know what the highlights sound like, take a look at that. Okay? And knowing me, with all of my conversation, I probably dip and dab into what's coming. All right, but we're going to get right into it. So on the 1st of October, Mercury in Libra is squaring Jupiter in Cancer. And this is happening in your 4th house of home, family, ancestry, your siblings as well, your physical place of residence, real estate, and I think I covered it all. And your 1st house is about you, how you are viewed by others, how you feel about yourself, your physical appearance, your self-worth, all of that. So this is a square, and a square creates tension. And the reason for the tension is because we are meant to learn and grow from, the pains that we may experience, because with the pain, you're able to recognize what's hurting you and you can release it, right? Okay, so growth is what this is saying to us. And the whole point of astrology is for us to remember who we truly are. This is an avatar body. who are you without your avatar body? That's what you need to know. You need to remember all of that. Okay, so let's see. During this transit, you may have to mediate family disputes because Mercury is in Libra, and Libra is about harmony and balance. And of course, Mercury is about communication, right? Debating interior decorating schemes with housemates or spending much of your mental energy on domestic issues, which may conflict with your expansive, independent impulses. Okay, and that's the Jupiter part of it. Jupiter is expansive and it's, truth loving, wanting to express and express its independence. Okay, so this may create some of that tension as well. So the mental chatter with Mercury you may experience may lead you to overthink, okay, which may cause you to get stuck in a loop of indecision. And, you want to work on releasing that. Your strong sense of self and optimism may be at odds, okay, with your traditional ideas. That's Libra in Mercury here, about home and security. Okay, Jupiter pushes you towards new liberating experiences. Mercury brings your attention back to your roots, okay, creating an internal tension between moving forward and staying put. All right, so, that is, some time to contemplate because it's a square. So once you get through the square, then you may see things clearly. Okay? So on the third Cancer rising, Mercury in Libra is opposition, Chiron in Aries, and Chiron is the wounded healer. Okay, wherever Chiron is in your chart, that's where your wounds are. But this is a transiting Chiron, so it's in Aries. So wherever Aries is in your chart, which is going to be in your 10th house, this is where some of the wounds that need to be healed are sitting for you, okay? So you may struggle to reconcile your desire for peace and partnership at home with aggressive urges or competitive behaviors. That's, Aries. You attempt to be diplomatic and fair and may be met with resistance and criticism. You may find it challenging to assert your needs or express yourself clearly in your professional life, and you may feel misunderstood or that your public actions are being perceived as selfish or overly aggressive. Okay? Your sensitive home life may become a source of vulnerability if you are dealing with issues related to your identity or personal power in your career. And because Aries rules the first house, the identity part is coming into play. So on the 6th, this is a time when your intellect and communication are focused by diplomacy, because we have Mercury moving into Scorpio, and balance with an intense desire for truth in your creative process. I think this one? Oh yeah, okay. And romantic partners. Okay, so this is Mercury in Scorpio in the 5th house. So I think this, I don't know where the diplomacy is coming from, because Mercury is in Scorpio, and this is about communication. Scorpio is deep, intensive, investigative energy, where it likes to really look into matters in this instance is the creative process, or dealing with children, or with your romantic partners. Now, diplomacy, I don't see that in here right now. I may have made could have been an error, because diplomacy and balance would have to do with Libra or Venus. Okay, so the full moon in Aries, yeah, I don't know what happened there. I'll fix that later. Okay, full moon in Aries, and this is happening in your 10th house as well. And it's happening at 8:47 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, so during this full moon, you may be nudged to assert your authority, make important decisions, and move towards being more authentic and empowered in your professional life. Release what is no longer serving you, okay? And that was quick. So on the 7th, we have Mercury in Scorpio square Pluto in Aquarius, happening in your 5th house of creativity, romantic partners, children, hobbies, and speculation. And your 8th house of transformation, psychological issues, shared resources, inheritances, other people's money. This is also an intuitive house as well. So you may pick up on psychic information or be interested in those topics. Okay, so during this transit, your intense communication about shared resources, intimacy, and personal transformation may lead to confrontations about, superficiality, hidden motivations in relationships or creative projects, because that is Scorpio and that is also Pluto, okay? Wanting to bring up, the superficial stuff so that you can transform it into the truth, the light, and the truth and the light. Okay, so on the 13th, we have Venus moving into Libra. And this is happening in your 4th house of home, real estate, family, your siblings as well, your ancestral and your ancestry and your heritage, okay? So this could have some, past life energy in the 4th house. So this is an opportune time to renovate, because Venus is in Libra, and Venus rules Libra, and Venus is at home in the 4th house because of, comfort, beauty, redecorating. So So this is that time, where you can be happy doing those things. You can buy a vehicle, improve your home comfort and satisfaction. This transit may also foster positive financial well-being and unexpected income and opportunities for artistic endeavors and spiritual growth as well. Okay, so on the 14th, we have Pluto in Aquarius stationing direct. And this is happening in your 8th house of transformation, shared resources, inheritances, psychological issues, psychic issues, not issues, but psychic abilities. And this is also the house of death, other people's money as well. Okay, so this is a powerful time because we have Pluto here in the 8th house for inner work. Okay, and it may be a wake-up call for transforming areas related to what's going on in the 8th house. You may encounter deep and profound shifts in your life, and that may force you to confront your fears, vulnerability, or unhealthy dependencies. Okay? What you've been avoiding, such as matters of sex, death, or shared resources, will take center stage. Power dynamics, codependency, and control issues needs your attention. So pay attention. You may have to confront your health beliefs about money. Your belief, not your health, but well, you could, the health of your money. You may have to confront your beliefs about money. Okay? So on the 16th, we have the Sun in Libra squaring Jupiter in Cancer. And this is happening in your 4th house of home and your 1st house of self. Okay? You may desire more space, comfort, and family involvement. There is also a focus on your broader relationships and a need for fairness outside of the home, which may feel draining. You may be more generous with a tendency to overspend on your home and family, so just be careful about that, if you living above your means. So, and this is because of the Sun's ego in Libra. Well, wherever the Sun is or which sign, it's going to be ego driven. Okay, so you may want to, be more show than being, realistic. And this is the ego. Okay, so intense feelings may surface regarding your sense of self and personal environment, which may make you more sensitive to perceived injustices in your domestic life. Okay, on the 21st, we have the new moon, and I don't mean to rush you, but it's something about time with me and my camera. So I'll get this message and it stops me and I gotta, go through another process. So forgive me for that, but I'm gonna give you all that I have to give here. Okay, so on the 21st, the new moon is in Libra at 5:25 a.m. and this is happening in your 4th house. The new moon encourages introspection about your inner self, and we just talked about in that last statement, okay, and your relationships with your inner child, and to create a more comforting and stable environment. Okay, You may feel a desire for seclusion, spend more time with loved ones, or be inspired to decorate and improve your living space. Now, that's a creative outlet for you, Cancer rising. Okay, so we have Neptune retrograding back into 29 degrees of Pisces, and this is happening in your ninth house of beliefs, religion, your philosophy, your spirituality, your teachers, different cultures, long distance travel. Okay? So Neptune is here to make sure that everything that it's done so far, didn't leave any left over. So whatever it is that we've been pulling from the ninth house with Neptune in Pisces, we are getting the last parts of it up to release, because this is the last time that Neptune and Saturn are going to be in the sign of Pisces. So the next move will be, next year, and it'll be moving back into Aries where we have new beginnings. Okay, so let's see. You are urged to journey inward and dissolve illusions and find clarity by confronting the idealized or escapist ways you've approached your worldview and connection to the larger world. Okay? Now that's deep, but create some boundaries for yourself, okay? Because, with the fog and confusion of Neptune, it's hard to feel our way around. But the reason for the fog and the confusion is for you to know the difference between your fears and your intuition, okay? And once you start to own your intuition, then you can release the fear, because the fear will give us false pieces of information, okay? What is it? What is fear? False evidence of being real. That's what fear states. Okay? So with your intuitive, you can't go wrong. All right. So let's move into the last thing I'm going to talk about is the Sun in Scorpio, and this is happening in your fifth house of creativity. Okay, this is a time when your charisma is enhanced, and you shave, and you have the drive to seek what brings you joy. Okay, making it a favorable time for artistic projects and social activities. But this also requires you to have a careful balance to avoid excessive intensity or controlling behaviors in your relationships, because the ego of the Sun and Scorpio is intense, and Scorpio likes to control. But be aware and just, act accordingly. Okay, Cancer rising, this is your forecast for October 2025. And until next time, bye for now.